Good evening. You're welcome. Tonight at 9. Donald Trump suggests US air power might back future Ukraine security, but concedes President Putin may not want a peace agreement at all.
We're going to see where it all goes. It's possible that he doesn't want to make a deal.
Police Ombudsman Fitzroux investigate death of man following interaction with Garda at the weekend. Heather Humphreys appears to be pulling far ahead in Fine Gael race for the Áras. Anglers demand answers as thousands of fish are killed in what's being described as an ecological disaster. US President Donald Trump has said he hoped that Vladimir Putin would move forward on ending the war in Ukraine, but conceded that the Russian president may not want to make a deal. However, as Ukrainian allies today pushed ahead with the detail of security guarantees in any future deal, Mr. Trump ruled out any US troops on the ground, but suggested extending US air support.
Откровенно и конструктивно. Vladimir Putin этой ночью.
Frank and highly constructive is how Russian state news described last night's phone call between US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. But unlike Mr. Trump, the Kremlin has made no official reference to a potential meeting between President Zelensky and Putin. Some sources reported that Russia's leader had suggested Moscow as a venue, which Mr. Zelensky declined. Russia's foreign minister was not giving much away either. Sergei Lavrov said any contacts involving top officials should be prepared very carefully, adding that territorial changes are often essential to resolving conflicts. So while Russian officials sounded non-committal over a time frame for a Putin-Zelensky meeting, leaders from the coalition of the willing, including Taoiseach Micheál Martin, began early discussions on the kind of post-war security guarantees they could offer Ukraine. In a statement issued after the meeting, Mr. Martin said that Ireland stands ready to play our part, building on support we have already committed to Ukraine for non-lethal military equipment, and our openness to contribute to a peacekeeping mission in line with the UN Charter. America's role in providing those security guarantees remains vague. Today, Mr. Trump told Fox News that he would not send American ground troops to Ukraine, but the US could help by air. There was also less optimism today from America's leader.
We're going to find out about President Putin in the next couple of weeks, that I can tell you. And we're going to see where it all goes. It's possible that he doesn't want to make a deal.
Since last week's summit in Alaska, more questions than answers have emerged about what that peace deal might actually entail. Liam Nolan, RT News.
A 51-year-old man who was seriously injured in an incident on O'Connell Street in Dublin last Friday has died. Fitzroux, the Office of the Police Ombudsman, is independently investigating the incident, which happened following an interaction with a Garda. A little earlier, Jackie Fox gave us the details.
Well, just after 4 o'clock in the morning last Friday on August 15th, this incident occurred. A 51-year-old man was seriously injured following an interaction with a Garda near the Holiday Inn on O'Connell Street. The man was brought to hospital and Fitzroux, the Office of the Police Ombudsman, was brought in and attended the scene. An independent investigation was launched and a dedicated officer was assigned to the case. Now, over the weekend, the man was treated in hospital. However, there has been a sad development. In a statement, Fitzroux said that the man has died and it has been liaising with the Dublin City Coroner and the Office of the State Pathologist in relation to a post-mortem examination. It said that it wanted to thank members of the public who have come forward with information. It also said that it is again appealing for witnesses. It said that it is vital to their investigation that any witnesses to this serious incident should come forward.
Early momentum appears to be with Heather Humphreys in the race for the Fine Gael nomination for the presidential election. The former minister is said to have the backing of around 2/3 of the parliamentary party after putting her name forward. Former MEP Sean Kelly also announced that he's seeking Fine Gael's nomination.
Sean Kelly was first out of the traps this morning to say he hoped to secure Fine Gael's nomination after the party decided to run another candidate following the withdrawal on health grounds of Mairead McGuinness. The MEP says party members should have a say.
Members of the Fine Gael party who hadn't an opportunity to exercise their franchise within the party for a long number of years now might have an opportunity to select the person they think is more suited to represent them in the presidential election.
While former Minister Heather Humphreys chose her local radio station to make her announcement.
Really, I've had a good rest. The tank is full again, and you know, timing is a funny thing because I have never felt as good about taking on a challenge.
Sources close to Ms Humphreys say she's got the support of more than half of the parliamentary party now, with around 39 out of 59 votes promised.
I will be supporting Heather in her candidacy. I've worked with her for many, many years, and I believe that she would make an excellent president representing people right across this country. But I believe we are very fortunate to have two people of such high calibre willing to put their name forward.
Fianna Fáil MEP Billy Kelleher said he thought his party should meet sooner rather than later to decide whether they'll nominate a candidate. But the party leader disagreed.
Yeah, I was surprised by Billy's call because he knows, and I've made it very, very clear that at the end of this month I will be making it clear and I will be engaging with the parliamentary party and outlining the Fianna Fáil position. Then I don't intend to do it now. I'm not going to speculate.
Sinn Féin's stance is similar. They'll decide next month whether to run their own candidate or possibly to back Catherine Connolly, who's currently the only nominee with a clear path to the Áras. The election is expected to take place around the end of October. Juliette Gash, RTE News.
Fishery operators have said that the number of fish killed in the River Blackwater in County Cork last week could now exceed 46,000 and have described it as an ecological disaster. Inland Fisheries Ireland, who are investigating the incident, believe up to 10,000 fish have died.
This was the scene on the Blackwater River at Mallow in County Cork this day last week when anglers woke up to the horror of a fish kill. And this was the scene today, 7 days later. You can still see dead fish accumulating near the edge of the water and many others still floating by.
It is affecting over 30 kilometres of the river. We estimate the figure to be over 40,000 fish. That includes a lot of juvenile salmon. My business revolves around salmon fishing primarily. These by nature have a 3 to 4 year cycle in the river, so this has a knock-on effect for years and years.
Inland Fisheries Ireland is hugely concerned too. It estimates, however, that the number of fish killed was significantly lower, at between 8,000 and 10,000 fish over an 18-kilometre stretch of water.
We still haven't got evidence of a single point source of pollution linked to this event. Our advice remains the same. We would ask anglers to refrain from angling in the affected stretches and remind people that there's no need to remove dead fish from the waters.
We're on day 8 and there's still fish dying in the river. So we don't know how long this is even going to keep going. If there'll be any fish left to keep restock or make a restock program with, we can't tell. We have to leave that to the experts.
All groups are now awaiting the result of tests on the dead fish conducted by the Marine Institute, which will not be available for another 2 weeks. George Lee, RTE News.
The Restaurants Association of Ireland has hit back at criticism of calls to restore the 9% VAT rate for food services, saying the sector is not booming with input costs continuing to rise. Today it launched a report saying that the restoration of the rate was justifiable.
The lunchtime rush gets underway in this Dublin city centre restaurant. Its owner says he does not see a VAT reduction as taxpayers subsidising the industry.
Restaurants, they're very fluid businesses. We adjust our labour hours to suit business and trade. So I can assure you restaurateurs are doing their very best to manage costs. But if we don't have the footfall and the cost pressures are too great, they'll just have to close.
The Restaurant Association of Ireland says it rejects some recent claims and commentary questioning the desirability of the restoration of the 9% VAT rate. It said the sector is not booming and that margins are under extreme pressure.
Today, the Restaurants Association of Ireland published a new report which seeks to make the case for the reduction in the VAT rate for the food service sector from 13.5% to 9% from January.
So the industry would argue we face these huge cost difficulties, none of our own devices as it were. We've tried to adjust to them, and one of the things that can be used to help to adjust them is government contribute its cost reduction.
Nearly 400 restaurants closed down in this year alone. What we've seen since the 13.5% was introduced nearly 2 years ago, that businesses have also had to deal with cost pressure by increased costs on raw material, increased energy costs, wage inflation.
The association is to meet with the Minister for Finance, Paschal Donohoe, to discuss the VAT rate next week. Sharon Lynch, RTÉ News.
Red Line Luas services in Dublin have been suspended between Busaras and The Point as a result of a fire in the Docklands area of the city centre. Dublin Fire Brigade said 3 engines are at the scene at George's Dock in the IFSC and that it is working to control the fire and cool adjacent exposures. Gas Networks Ireland said it has a crew at the scene and is assisting fire services. Still to come on the 9 o'clock news. Gaza ceasefire plan. A response is still waited from Israel a day after Hamas gave its backing to the latest proposal. And meet the graduates. A big day for these little blue heroes at Templemore Garda College. Welcome back. Mediators are awaiting an official response from Israel to the latest Gaza ceasefire plan, a day after Hamas accepted the proposal. Israel is reportedly demanding the release of all 50 hostages rather than the 25 the ceasefire plan suggests. It comes as the UN said Israel is not letting in enough supplies into Gaza to avert widespread starvation.
One of Tel Aviv's main routes blocked today by protesters calling for a deal to end the war and bring home Israel's hostages. Israel's government is considering a truce proposal from mediators that would include a 60-day ceasefire, the return of half of those Israelis being held captive in Gaza, and the release of some Palestinian prisoners. Though Israel's government is said to be demanding that all hostages are freed under the deal. Without a deal, the bombardment of Gaza goes on. Israeli airstrikes killing dozens more today, including the daughter, son-in-law and grandchildren of this man, Majed al-Mashouki, who says he simply cannot take any more. It is a sentiment felt across Gaza, where the battle to survive becomes harder every day.
We have seen reports that some supplies are entering, and we have seen that there are some trucks entering with supplies. Now, this is far below the amounts that are needed to avoid starvation.
Despite tentative hope of peace, the reality of Gaza is war, with thousands continuing to leave Gaza City ahead of an expected Israeli military expansion, fleeing danger, but with nowhere safe to go. Fiona Mitchell, RTÉ News.
A County Down company has been hailed as an inspiration after donating an entire day's sales revenue, almost £180,000, to Oxfam Ireland's Gaza Emergency Appeal. The charity has described it as a unique initiative that sends a message of hope.
Based rug retailer Cocoon launched a social media campaign to inform existing customers and the wider public of a plan to give all revenue raised on Friday the 8th of August to Oxfam's Gaza Appeal.
The company had set a target sales figure of £40,000 but already exceeded that figure by 9 a.m.
in the build-up, once we announced it, a number of people said they would make a purchase on that day, and you never know if that's going to follow up or not. But I think as we got closer to the Friday morning, the social following, the engagement we got was huge, and I think by 9 a.m. that morning we knew that it was going to be a huge day.
By the end of the day, sales totalled almost £178,000. Oxfam Ireland has described it as a unique initiative. It hopes others might follow.
It certainly would inspire us and hopefully other companies to engage in this kind of way, where so many people out there are looking for ways to support, looking for ways to get involved, looking for ways to see how can we do something about this catastrophe that's happening to other people across the world.
The brother and sister team behind the company said there had been concerns about a potential backlash from some customers and retail partners.
But then we decided that we had a public platform and we could feel the energy among our customers and we could see it ourselves between people that we know, and we decided that it was the right thing to do. The concern about the public reaction, we pushed it to the side and said, let's take the chance. Feels the right thing to do, and thankfully it's worked out.
Oxfam hopes to use the money to provide aid on the ground in Gaza as soon as practically possible. Vincent Kearney, RT News, County Down.
Wildfires raging in northern and western Spain have burned through nearly the same land area in the past 24 hours as in all of last year. However, the passing of a 16-day heatwave and expected rainfall have fanned hopes that an end may be in sight. The fires have spread over the regions of Extremadura, Galicia and Castile and Leon, forcing authorities to suspend rail services and cut access to roads in the area, as well as blocking a 50-kilometre stretch of the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage trail. UCD Student Union has said that an acute shortage of accommodation persists across Dublin City. It is appealing to householders with spare rooms to rent them to students as part of a digs drive across the city.
Bright and early this morning, UCD Students' Union searching for Dublin homeowners who might be interested in offering digs to a student.
Digs accommodation is not ideal, it's unregulated, so students have fewer rights, but UCDSU says it beats couch surfing or sleeping in a car.
When it works, it can be a really good win-win. What you find is, for particularly elderly people, you have the company and security of a young person in your home, and that's a nice thing as well to be able to offer people €14,000 tax-free, which is what it's up to for the rent-a-room scheme.
The student accommodation crisis is, of course, part of a much wider problem. So what did commuters this morning think?
Perhaps. I have my own, teenage boys at home, so we have to see. Maybe when they move out in the future we might.
Fortunately, no, I don't have my own home, but I just moved back from America, and the only way I was able to do it was because a friend had space in her house.
Yes, we would, yes. We have just one of our children at home, so yes, we would consider it.
Crowded house at the moment, in the future maybe.
Yeah, I have a spare room at home, and it's something I'd be open to if you have the right people. It's no problem, because it's shocking for people at the moment trying to find accommodation in the city.
Emma O'Kelly, RTE News, St Stephen's Green, Dublin.
Details of this year's Dublin Culture Night were revealed today. The event, which marks its 20th edition this September, will see over 300 free events take place, including musical acts, theatre performances, as well as gallery exhibitions and dance workshops.
In 2006, a handful of groups came together in Dublin for what they called Culture Night. It was run as a pilot event, but the reports were positive.
The organisers of Dublin Culture Night are delighted with the turnout this evening. They're now hoping to make this an annual event.
And we're loving disco fever.
The 20th Dublin Culture Night will happen on the 19th of September. Its programme was launched today and includes over 300 free events.
Over the years, the numbers have just grown exponentially. In year two, we doubled to 80 cultural venues, and we had 40,000 people to where we are now. Today we've got over 300 events and cultural venues happening right across the city, and huge numbers expected to turn out.
It's a key date for artists of all varieties.
You've got theatre, you've got exhibitions, you've even got like live drawing workshops, a lot of Oscuelga revival things happening as well. So it's a real celebration of the colourfulness of Dublin.
An event like this is so essential to give artists that platform to actually showcase their talent to a wider audience. Yeah.
It's a celebration of various cultures, of various people, of various venues. It's an opportunity to go out, to explore, to meet new people, to have fun, which is what Culture Night Dublin is all about.
Just how far Culture Night can grow remains to be seen. It's certainly moving in the right direction, and it gets a big nod from those here. Gavin O'Callaghan, RTE News.
Finally, it was a special day for 31 honorary Gardaí who graduated at a special ceremony. The Little Blue Heroes were sworn in front of family and friends at the Garda College in Templemore this afternoon.
Getting sized up and ready for action.
It's not too heavy.
8-year-old Shane Cullen was one of 31 honorary Gardaí who graduated at the Garda College this afternoon.
I got to see all the guards.
For his family, it marked a significant milestone.
Shane last year was diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma on the 27th of September last year. So this is kind of an end of a chapter for us as a family. So we had a tough year, didn't we, Shane? Yeah.
For 6-year-old Kieran Bracken, the job of being a guard has a particular draw.
It's cool to be a guard because riding motorbikes is so cool.
Today's ceremony was organised by the Little Blue Heroes charity alongside the Gardaí.
And our mission is twofold. On the one hand, we provide practical and financial support for families of children who have seriously ill children. And I think a day like today, supported by the Commissioner and all of the Garda College staff, creates those sort of memories for all of us.
Today is a special day for these young people and their families who have come from all corners of Ireland for today's ceremony.
It's hard to put it into words. The effort is just that everyone has gone to make us, the whole family, feel so welcome.
It's very enjoyable for the families. You can see how proud they are for their children to be honorary members of the Guards.
And when all the formalities were over, honorary Garda Conall Dunn had only one thing on his mind.
Ice cream.
You want ice cream?
Sinead Hussey, RTE News at the Garda College in Templemore.
And the main news again. US President Donald Trump has said he hoped that Vladimir Putin would move forward on ending the war in Ukraine, but conceded that the Russian president may not want to make a deal. However, as Ukrainian allies today pushed ahead with the detail of security guarantees in any future deal, Mr. Trump ruled out any US troops on the ground, but suggested extending US air support. That's Tuesday's main evening news from me and all the team. Good night and take care.